Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Full Plan Profit. Hope you guys are all having a great start to your Wednesday morning. I'm going to start sharing my screen just so you guys can see exactly what it is that I have going on. Again, I'm starting with no positions, no trading during pre-market hours, nothing holding or no holding anything. So let's go ahead and get started and have some fun. So here we go. How are you guys all doing this morning? Anything that you guys are watching in specific? We have /CL showing signs of a very nice consistent uptrend pattern. It's a little bit on the overbought side. Looks like it's forming a peak formation, and makes sense on why it can pull back to maybe the SMA line, right? Like it did here, or to the middle VWAP. I did get the alert that natural gas had a really nice push up. Looking at it right now, it does look a little bit overextended. It was downtrending. It looks like a very similar pattern, wouldn't you guys say, to yesterday, right? If you guys remember yesterday, it was downtrending and a really nice push up, almost exactly like this, right around 6 o'clock. Again, right around 6 o'clock, it had a really nice push up and then began to downtrend and correct itself and then began to push right back up. So, if you are up on UGAS, don't be afraid to lock in profits. And I'm just going to set my alerts. For those that have not been staying up to date with, my progress this week, Monday I made $1,300 profit, and yesterday I made $1,050 profit. So that means that with my weekly goal of $2,500 and $10,000 a month, that puts me, what is that, $150 away from my weekly goal. And we have today, tomorrow, and Friday. So I'm going to try to be a little bit more selective with what I choose to trade. So just want you guys to be aware of that, and the reason behind that. I want to make sure that I work toward my weekly goal without being counterproductive and just over trading and end up giving back some of my profits. So are you in a position on DCAS? Nope. I just showed that I was not in any position right now. I have not taken anything. So kind of just watching things right now. /NQ. Do you guys all see this? This is where it closed at, began to downtrend and then began to uptrend, kind of bouncing off the SMA line and riding that top VWAP. So if /NQ is pushing up, what does that mean? That means that TQQQ is pushing up as well. So and overall, major markets should be pushing up as well. What was the last one? Oh, gold. Gold. This one's probably the most consistent one. I got a lot of alerts on this. This is where it closed at, right? At market close, and then began to show signs of an uptrend, trading off the middle and top VWAP. Just look out for this. This was its last peak around 1309. Not too sure if it's going to continue to progressively make higher highs or if it's just going to begin to consolidate here. So something to think about. Hey Ricky, thank you for coming on live despite not being well strong this one. No, it's all good. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. I have cough drops, so we are good. Anyone trading drip? Let's check that out. So drip and gush, right? So gush is the one that's trending up. So I'm not too sure why people would be too focused on drip right now. On the day, gush is the one that's showing signs of an uptrend, meaning that if we do pay attention to the ticker symbol drip, that one should be downtrending, and that was its direction all day yesterday. So just be aware of the direction and why that's important. Thank you, JR. Danton, appreciate your guys' time as well. I know a lot of you guys have a lot of things going on. A lot of you guys have families, have jobs, and even just to get up, we have people all across the world that are part of One Plan Profit. So I just want to thank you guys for even tuning in. It means a lot to me, and that's why I feel so empowered to, even when I'm not feeling too good, that have a responsibility, since we're all holding one another accountable. So I really do appreciate it. Hi from Switzerland. Oh, that's so cool. Switzerland, greetings from the UK. Nice. That's so cool. Check out NIO. Okay, I'm gonna do a couple breakdowns. I really am not seeing anything that I want to trade right now. So right now we have /CL pushing up. So I'm gonna set my alert here. But if you guys have any breakdowns, please, if you can, post it in the ticker call out format. But I'm gonna set my alert to kind of see what direction these different things are going to be going. So NIO, if I'm not mistaken, NIO is a pump and dump. Yeah, this is not something that I want to participate in. Actively downtrending EMA still pointing down. It looks like it's trying to find a support. Yeah, it's just not something like with this fluctuation. It's just too volatile for me, too risky, and not worth it for me. But if it's worth it for you, great. Just look at this, especially on the 1 day 1 minute chart. Look at that MACD; it's already descending, and look at that RSI. So. Pop a quick cough drop for the boys. I already have one. Let's see where are we at. Yeah, you should be able to use the middle VWAP on, I think you're trying to say indexes, right? Like Dow and DAX, yeah. We should still be able to. And the thing is, it's not about using those indicators, right? It's not about using those indicators on everything. It's more of the understanding that like use those indicators when you have them on those charts and it looks like they are reacting to those indicators. So when I went to /GC, right? If /GC was like bouncing over here and then peaking out over here and then bouncing over here and then bouncing and peaking out over here, these indicators don't have any relevance, right? But looking at this, you could see that the middle VWAP has relevance. So does the top VWAP, right? So it's relevant to that pattern. And if I said this in the course, it doesn't matter what indicator you use, as long as it's relevant. It has some relevance to that specific kind of like ticker, then that's what matters. Because sometimes the middle VWAP doesn't react very well to certain stocks, and it's not going to be a very effective indicator. But it doesn't mean it's not a very effective indicator. It just means for that specific selected stock isn't the best. Do you guys get what I mean? Yeah, sorry about the cough. Do you ever use the flex grid to show multiple stocks? I have before. As you guys can see, I've had it with like 2 and stuff like that. I have my side screen right here, which is like where I have my futures and stuff like that, and then I have this. You guys know that I just don't like to overcomplicate it. If it becomes like too overwhelming and just too complicated, and it just, again, if you can't retain that information and make sense of it, it again becomes less efficient, right? So if it works well for you and you like it, 100%. All right, let's see. Mohammed, welcome to the team. Nice. That's so cool. 30 minutes ago. When do you plan on redoing the course? I'm still filming the video, so because I've been sick, it might get pushed back a little bit, but 100% they're going to be updated. So, and I am going to update the course all at one time, if I'm not mistaken, so it'll be all done in one night, as in like the course will be right now provided with a series of videos, and then I'll announce it maybe like 24 hours or maybe a week ahead of time, and then I'll change the entire course. Are you focusing more on day trading? Um, do you mean like in the course or right now? Like right now with how I'm trading, I'm definitely focusing more on trading. In the course, I was focusing on, if I'm not mistaken, like a little bit of like lower cap stocks and a lot in swing trading. Okay, so the course. Yeah, no, I'm gonna explain both. So my biggest thing is I didn't have enough, I don't think, information about how I day trade now. And this is the biggest thing that I've talked about is like the market's always changing. So that's why I think that these live streams play a huge role in the relevance of our Learn Plan Profit community, because yes, you can complete the course, but also the information and how I'm trading now is a little bit different. And why is that? It's because the market's changing. So I think that's something that like a lot of other courses that don't get updated. I've heard, and again, I'm not too sure. Don't like quote me on this, but I heard like Timothy Sykes' course was like 5 or 7 years old, or 3 to 5 years old, something like that, and it was very outdated. And I just didn't understand how that information being shared, like yeah, a series of best practices could make sense, but that like the information being shared was super like outdated, and a lot of the stocks that were being talked about and examples that were given were no longer relevant. So there's a huge disconnect there. So that's why I thought that if I have to update the course every year or year and a half, great. But as long as you guys understand that the real time information, and how I trade is given in the live trading sessions. Here we go. You guys see this? See if we get filled. Yeah, not getting filled. So I'm going to lean back a little bit. Here we go. So again, it found a support here before and then it pushed up. Margin of profit isn't absolutely huge. It's about 1%. So we're going to wait a little bit for a pullback. If we're looking at natural gas, why am I doing this? Well, natural gas is a little bit more on the overbought side. Makes sense on why it can correct itself and pull back here. So if this begins to pull back, then that means that degas will then begin to push up. So that's my breakdown on why I'm taking this position. There we go. Got filled with 100 shares. Gonna leave it at this right now, and until if and only if we start making lower lows on ticker symbol like UGAS and natural gas. Is the oil report at 10:30? Yeah, so it's 1 hour after the market opens on Wednesday. So wherever it is that you are. Oh yeah, 100%. So Bling, that's a, and I think it's just because I do that, it does not mean that that's something that you have to do. But it's the understanding of like his question was with swing trading, do you take smaller positions as opposed to day trading? And you guys can answer this question as well, because it's however, like how comfortable do you feel holding a position, and how much money are you comfortable with having, at like on the line for that trade. If you're really comfortable with that trade and you're really comfortable with the pattern and the margin of profit that it has to offer, you might feel more comfortable to risk a higher dollar amount, right? Trade with a higher dollar amount. But a majority of the time, I'm not swing trading with $25,000 or $30,000. Yesterday, I was day trading with $35,000. I would not swing trade something like that just because I know if it moves like 5%, I'm gonna give back like all my profits for the week, right? And it's just on one little simple mistake. So what I try to think about is kind of like the bigger picture. Yes, I do want to take advantage of an opportunity, especially if I see a consistent pattern, but I don't want it to, the whole point of taking these positions, every time that you take advantage of a new opportunity, it should be with the understanding that it's a step moving forward. It doesn't mean that it has to turn out according to your plan, but the reasoning behind, right? The whole plan and structure should be a plan for success, both in the red and both in the green, that you'll manage your risk both ways. And if what you're doing and the actions that you're taking don't align with that, and you start taking swing trading positions without understanding what you're doing and just taking it just because you ran out of day trades, then that is when you're going to begin to, make a lot of mistakes. And that's when you're going to really discourage yourself. So as long as you have a reason, that's the biggest thing. If you have a reason behind what you're doing, that means that you have some understanding of what you're doing. And as long as you do, then you can learn from that, regardless if it comes out in your favor or not. But yeah. What do you think about Warren Buffett's way of investing and trading? Wow, huge sell-off. Warren Buffett doesn't trade; he invests. I believe he used to trade, right, when he first got started. Yeah, he's a value investor. Huge push up on natural gas, which caused a sell-off, and again, this is why we take a smaller position size. I'm someone that, like, again, my trading style, again, is in no way correlated to Warren Buffett's investing style, but I think that you can learn a lot from his discipline and structure. It doesn't mean that you have to implement it exactly to your trading style, as it's completely different from investing and trading. But he's someone that definitely the way that he breaks down companies more in the traditional aspect. I think the only technology company that he invested in was Apple. Other than that, I think he invested a little bit in Microsoft, just because he's friends with Bill Gates. But other than that, it's all traditional companies, and that's just his niche, right? It doesn't, he never invested in Amazon, but he could have made a killing. And it doesn't mean that oh wow, he missed out. It's just not his niche, right? You can't shoot yourself in the foot for something that you don't feel comfortable doing. You can make a lot of money doing a lot of different things, but it doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do, right? Because you don't feel comfortable doing it. So I've watched a lot of his videos, and I try to focus not in his investing style, but more of his thought process. I think that's what's very important, of how people make sense of their investments. I like where it's at right now. So I'm going to go with a smaller position. What did I put it at? Appreciate that, Ope. Yeah, SQ's at a 52-week low. It's been selling off pretty consistently. Okay. Are you guys checking out /NG? /CL just pushed up again, making higher highs. So watch out for the inverse ETF. Watch out for the RSI. Watch out for the MACD. TVIX. Sorry, I didn't see your question first. TVIX is a very similar pattern to, so it's going to be very similar to SQQs, right? So it's the inverse, right? So it should be, the inverse of TVIX should be SPY, right? If I'm not mistaken. And that's the one that's trending up. So I think that these are becoming overbought. TVIX and SQs are becoming oversold. But again, the direction has not changed in any way. So I would still focus on whatever's trending up, and that's TQs and SPY. I would just not try to predict a reversal, especially on ones that have to do with the market. Viral beats. Nice. That's cool. LQA. Very low volume. This wouldn't be something that I would trade. Yeah, and it looks like you see how it has, again, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it, but there's very you could see volume bars right here, and it's every time that it has these pumps that it looks like it's being manipulated, because you could see the activity. Same with this, same with this, same with a little one right here, and same with what recently happened. And guess what? It normally sells off, so I would stay away from this. What are your thoughts on the tickers of DWT and UWT? Again, those have to do with /CL, and /CL on the day is uptrending. So make sure you become familiar with how it's been trading, and then watch the correlating ETFs as in UWT and DWT. Gold, same thing with this. Again, what do I think about /GC? Trading between the middle and top VWAP. Right now it's a little bit more on the overbought side, so not viewed as such a good deal. And again, it just means that we have to give it more time. So let's just be patient. I think it would make a lot more sense that if we give it an hour or something like that, and then it begins to trade kind of like it was here. We're patient, we don't buy, begins to consolidate, we still don't buy. And then whenever it is that you feel comfortable, when it's making higher highs and you see that progression happen, that you slowly begin to add more to your position size. So John Lee, I'm in with a pretty small still position size on ticker symbol DGAS. So I do see natural gas to be a little bit on the overbought side, but it's because I see the margin of profit to be worth it. When natural gas begins to sell off, I think it would be worth it for DGAS. But you are right, it is uptrending right now, so it is going against me. But that is why I'm not in with 300 or 350 shares. That's why I'm in with 150 shares as of right now. But you're 100% correct. Yeah. why did you not take a position on UGAS? Because I saw UGAS to be overbought, so I didn't see the margin of profit to be worth it. Also, you guys have to understand that based off of how it performed yesterday, which is what I traded, almost exactly around 6 o'clock, natural gas pushed up very aggressively, and then it began to consolidate, right? Kind of like it did right here, and then it began to sell off. So it doesn't mean that it has to do the same thing whatsoever. It just means that it potentially can. So right now I see a resistance to be around this general area, but it is uptrending a little bit more today, and holding a little bit more today than it was yesterday. So this is kind of where I see it consolidating, and there it goes. It's pushing up. So now we just have to wait for it to be a little bit more like to define it's I could see that it's extremely overbought. The MACD is already beginning to descend. There's a series of indicators that are in my favor and not in natural gas's favor. The biggest thing that's playing in natural gas's favor is obviously its direction in the EMA line as of right now. So we're just now then waiting for it to begin to break below these supports. But again, if you think it's too early, then simply just watch and kind of see it play out. Because it doesn't mean that I'm correct at all. I could be 100% wrong, and this thing can begin to uptrend. So I just hope you guys both know both sides. Will you sell your position on degas if natural gas continues to push up? Yeah, I would say like with a 1.2%, 150 shares. I don't know why I said 1.2%. I would try to manage it around 1 to 1.5% of my, of that position. Because I know that once one stock plays out according to my plan, I'll recover it right away. So if I plan to make, let's say, 2% today, right? And that's with my full $30,000 position. So 2% of, $30,000, that would be $600. Right now I'm in with a little bit under $15,000, and I manage my risk at, 1.5% max. Then that means I'm risking, about $175 for the trade. So if I make 600 and just one trade comes out according to plan, even with a 50% success rate, it could go pretty well, and I'll end up in the green. And that's the biggest thing. It's like a numbers game, right? You want to make sure that you keep your losses smaller than what you plan to make. So the losses are inevitable, and you just have to control them. That's the hardest part. That's I would say one of the hardest parts of trading is accepting a loss and cutting losses. If you're someone right now that got started in the past 2 years, right? 2 years, and you're good at cutting losses, you're already better than I was when I first started. I just hope that you know that. Learning how to see patterns, that will come with time. Learning how to lock in profits and all that stuff, that will come with time. Biggest focus is become a true professional in cutting losses. And trust me, it's not a glorified title to have, but if you could do that and you can manage that risk, you're amazing, because you're controlling your emotions. So I learned the hard way to cut losses. I think everybody does. Honestly, I think a lot of people do. It's very rare where people don't learn the hard way. I think it's almost like there we go. Natural gas is pulling back a little bit, but it's something that I think that that's why I always say please, if you're a beginner, start paper trading, or make sure that you have a beginner size account, so it doesn't devastate you when you experience these huge losses. So I lost 40%. Oh wow, okay, that's pretty. Yeah, but to understand that now, you understand what it feels like to be in that position, and you probably don't want to be in it again. So as long as you're aware now, right? You might have been not aware of what to do then, and you can't, again, shoot yourself in the foot for something that you were unaware of. You could only control. This is one of the biggest things. So I actually was thinking about making a video about this. I'm not too sure if you guys even care. One of the new parts in real estate that I'm getting into is there's two. I'm getting into flipping homes. So I'm working with an agent here in Arizona. That's one of the top real estate agents in his brokerage, and he's top 2% in the country. He's someone that I've connected with, I think, because of our cars like 2 years ago. Really nice guy, just amazing hustle. And I'm also getting into private money lending for these properties, and the percentage and the return isn't huge, but it's something that could like offer a passive income for me. And I also think it's something that can be interesting. My biggest thing is, is it Austin Zavak? No. My biggest thing is like, you can't be upset for like missing out on opportunities. And again, just like try to make sense of this. I think a lot of you guys could agree. You can't be upset with yourself for missing out on opportunities that you are not aware of. So I see a lot of people get into hard money lending that have a decent amount of money. I see a lot of people get into flipping homes that make a lot of money or make a decent amount. And I can't be upset. And I see all these people making a ton of money. And I'm just like, we see usually people on YouTube, like again, the stereotype, like people that just love sharing their opinion, will just continue to say like why you can't do certain things. And my biggest thing is like, I've seen so many people get into hard money lending, get into like flipping homes, and I just see them make a decent amount of money, and I'm just like, wow, like that would be so cool. And my biggest thing is like, I can't get upset for myself for missing out on like, making an extra 6 figures a year when I'm not someone that's taking action to learn more about that market. So that's what I did yesterday. I reached out to this guy about a week ago, and we finally met up. We talked for about like 2 hours, and I'm super excited, right? We were talking about like, my availability and what I have like to like invest in like the hard money, with the hard money lending, what percentage return I get, the duration of the loan, the risk involved, and how I can be a little bit more involved with, flipping properties as well. And it's, the more, it's like, trust me, it's a very cringy quote, but it's like the more you learn, the more you earn, right? Like there's a lot of like people that say that. So I know we have a lot of talented real estate agents. Within Learn Plan Profit, we have a lot of talented people in all different markets. But again, it's like, if you see someone doing well in a certain market and you're established in your own market and you want to kind of diversify, it's not about overwhelming yourself. So if you're still learning how to trade and you want to learn real estate and you want to learn Forex and you want to learn all these things, that's going to be counterproductive because that's very overwhelming. But if there's someone that's willing to dedicate time to learn more about a market, and you're already established in your own and you continue that and you just slowly learn about something else, I think that's, it makes sense to me. So that's why I decided to do that. Have you thought about starting up? Yeah, I mean, so have I started, have I thought about starting another rental property like I have before, but with a quadplex or a small apartment building, maybe student housing? Yeah, I definitely, wow, okay, natural gas is pushing up. So it looks like natural gas is doing a really good job finding a support around the EMA line. So I definitely have, the biggest thing is like opportunities and excuse me. My biggest thing is just like coming across these series of like opportunities. I was not proactively looking for, I was for a while, and then I just felt like the market was a little bit overbought and I just stopped looking. So I became less aware of what was out there. So I can make any excuse. My biggest thing was I became less involved in the real estate market because I had such a huge responsibility for the company that we're growing here. So I would 100% love to be more involved. but I just have to make sure that I manage my time accordingly. Business meeting, gotta go soon. Thanks, Ricky. Appreciate that, Brandon. Hope it goes well. Mark Thomas, nice. Oh, we're a little bit over 30 minutes, so people are heading out anyway. So learn to cut losses when blue line dark accounts, tough as well. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Is like as long as the account accommodates a beginner account, then that's what's important. So. Oh, that's super cool. Okay. Chris, if you could, because I don't know what your. Oh, Chris. Oh my goodness. I didn't even know that it was you. I saw your little thumbnail. But yeah, direct message me. Just say that you want his information, and I'll send it right on over. Appreciate that, guys. Thank you. Sold, gosh. Wow, 4.38%. That's huge. I'm over here just waiting. Any predictions on the natural gas report? No, I'm not here to try to predict the future, and that's not until tomorrow. So. Sweet, yeah, I think you have Justin's number. So Justin doesn't have his contact info, but if you text Justin, I'll send that info on over to you. Because I don't think I have your number. All right, team. Let's see. Alrighty, so where are we at? We're at 36 minutes for the live stream, so I might have to cut losses. Yeah, I know. Natural gas is holding very well. So if it continues to push up, then I'll definitely cut losses on that. But as of right now, I feel comfortable. It's not like it's continuously pushing up or anything like that. It's just slowly moving up. So maybe on a pullback, I'll cut losses then. I'll keep you guys up to date with my overall position. And I wish you guys an amazing rest of your Wednesday. I'm going to go get some food. Hopefully I can get some breakfast right now. I need to get breakfast. And I'm just going to take some medicine, and then I'll be back in the chats responding to your direct messages. So, and I'll be a little bit I'll be keeping you guys up to date under the Trade Ideas channel, in the main channel, and then the ETF channel. So, appreciate your guys' time. Sergio Living's what's going on, my guy. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day. And I actually have an announcement today in our first video for YouTube. So I hope you guys are excited for that, and it's really going to be for all of you that are part of Lone Pine Profit. So yeah, thank you guys again for your time. Take it easy, team.